insurance.
All right. And we're live. How you doing, brother?
I'm good, man. How are you doing? What's up?
Oh, awesome, guys. Hey, everybody, thanks for joining us. This is going to be a quick podcast session with my good friend Austin, who is the owner and founder of Limitless Credit Repair. So this is going to be a good session for anybody that has bad credit, which is like 99% of the population right now. So we're going to share some tips, tricks, hacks, and it's going to be good. We're going to we're talking a little bit about finances and generational wealth and all that stuff. So Austin, man, talk to me, brother. How you doing today?
Doing good, doing good. If you don't know who I am, like he mentioned, my name is Austin Charbonneau, business owner, just like Mark. And we have a couple of different businesses that we run. Me and my wife, we have 2 kids, and I'm not going to give you the true Hollywood story, but we can dive into some questions because I got questions for you too, Mark. So
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely, man.
Lead the
Well,
way.
I want to talk about credit repair first, man. And I know, a lot of people are struggling these days with, credit cards are through the credit cards are through the roof, right? Historical high.
Yeah.
People are depending on credit cards more than ever, right? And then we got student loans. We're not even going to touch that subject because that's a whole nother mountain that we can talk about. But credit cards alone, people over the last, probably since COVID, have really utilized credit in the wrong way, right? We're supposed to utilize credit in a good, healthy way, but I think a lot of people, what they do is they'll spend, and then just pay the minimum, and they'll never end up paying off their debt that they should have been able to pay off within that first month. So that's stuff that I've been learning over the last couple of years as well. But um, t- tell us some, number one, what your company focuses on, right? What's your forte? What does your company focus on, and what you've seen just in the community, in the economy, in just people around us, what they struggle with the most, and maybe what limitless credit repair does to help kind of bridge that gap and bring a solution to. So I know that was a mouthful, but go for it.
Great question. And the number one thing is financial literacy. We're not taught credit in school. As you know, we're not taught financial strategies in school. You don't learn it at any college, really, campus, and you're not going to learn it at any place of work, in the marketplace. And so where do you learn about this? This is where, you do your own research is important, but also you got to study whatever, you're trying to learn. As far as the credit industry, I mean, I've been a victim of bad credit. So I'm a personal story of how you can learn and then also increase your credit score. Anybody can do this. I'm not going to be able to be in the NBA, right? I don't have the height or the skill for it, but credit is a formula. It's something you can learn, and it's something you can master. So most people, they don't know what's going on with their credit report. And so that would be the number one step to find what's going on with your credit report, number one. And one of the things we do is we coach everybody on what to look for, number one, what's affecting their score, how to maximize it. And then also we do the repair part as well. So it's a very hands-off approach. They don't even have to worry about sending any letters or anything like that. We handle everything for them. And it was funny you mentioned credit cards. I try, because most people have credit card debt. I would say about 10 out of 10, most people. And so when you get a credit card, you are an asset for them. Because think about this.
Yes.
If you go buy an apartment building, that's your asset. You're making money every single month that it's cash flowing. And guess what? When you have credit card debt, they're cash flowing every single month from you. So you are an asset for them.
It's the same with bank accounts too. We're assets to the bank accounts. Yep. But keep going. Yep.
And we're going to dive into that one too. So why would they give an 18-year-old with no financial education a credit card? Well, duh. And the statistics show they're more likely to make interest off of you than for you to not pay the credit card, right?
Right.
And so
stop right there for a second. They'll give a pre-college student a $20,000 credit card, but they won't give them a $20,000 small business loan. How does that make sense, right? How does that even make sense?
It's crazy. Yeah. And it's kind of criminal, to think about it. Because I made a video about this the other day too. I'm saying, why would you not teach financial education in school? Why not? because they make money, the government and entities make money on the interest. So the worse your credit score is, the more they can make off of you. So why would they teach you to have a good credit score? They're not going to be able to make as much off of you.
The system's rigged, bro. The system's rigged.
Crazy.
It's crazy. It's rigged in more than one way. Trust me. And we can talk about the education system, the college system. We can talk about small businesses. We can talk. I can go into a complete rabbit hole with this subject, but the system in general is not made for us to win, not whatsoever. And only a few get past it, right? A few make the right choices, choose the right path, and break through the system. But the majority get stuck in the system so that we are fully dependent on others, i.e., government and the state programs, to bail us out of debt and bail us out of college loans and bail us. And if a car manufacturer goes under, bail them out too. And it's the craziest thing in the world. And I think our country never started out this way. But as greedy people started building our country for the last couple hundred years, we've gone into this death spiral of let's squash the little guy so that he depends on the bigger guys for the rest of their life. And it's crazy, man. It's really sad, actually. It's sad.
And what's more important than money is power. You know, when you have power over somebody, you have more than their finances, you have their life. And that's kind of what the government is taking that role. Yeah. And it's scary, man. And you know what's funny? I made another video about this where, you know, it says we owe like $30 trillion, right? We don't owe other companies we don't owe other countries 30 trillion.
Right.
We actually owe the Federal Reserve, which are a group of individuals who basically will
which is not even federal.
Which is not federal.
They're not federal. Okay, keep going.
So it's just crazy. And so once you start going down the rabbit hole, like you said, man, it's crazy the information that you learn. And so, yeah, man, at Limitless Credit Repair, like I love helping people with their credit. We've been able to remove over $100 million in negative items, you know, transform people's lives, help them buy their dream homes. And more importantly, one thing we can do is we can actually sue the credit bureaus, because a lot of times they're violating your rights and you don't even know what's happening.
I was going to ask you about that because I remember, and by the way, guys, I ran into Austin on TikTok. That's where we connected. I was watching his videos a couple of years ago, and then one way or another we got connected. We connected on chat a couple times. We did a couple phone calls here and there. And I've been watching him say that he's been able to sue. Is it the credit bureaus that you sue or the credit companies?
Both.
Okay, you can sue both because they're doing a lot of, let's just say, there's a lot of gray area and they're doing a lot of things that are unethical. And you've been able to win lawsuits that get your clients money. Is that correct, or am I making that crap up right now?
Bro, we have like we have over a 99% success rate when we take these companies to court. And the reason is
because they don't want to deal with it, right?
Exactly. So if you got a debt with, you know, a medical debt that's like $3,000, well, we're taking them to court. That's going to cost them $5,000. So they would rather settle the debt and, you know, just get it off your credit report. And so that's what we count on.
That's insane to me.
And and
most people don't do that. Most people don't even think that's possible, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I didn't know it either, you know, and I started my business without doing this. So when I incorporated this into my company, I mean, our results went through the roof, man. It's been incredible. But
how long have you been in business, by the way?
About 6.5 years.
Okay, so you're not just one of those beginners. Follow my credit blueprint. Here's quick $7 PDF that you can download because I want to be rich off the courses that I make. Right? You're not one of those guys, right?
No,
I follow guys all the time, and all they have is a PDF for you to follow. It's like you've actually been in the game. You're almost a seasoned veteran. You've been in this long enough to know the ins and outs, the right ways and the wrong ways to do this. Yes?
Yeah, so I started with a network marketing company that helped
Sure.
people with fix their credit. And so
Yep.
I broke records in that company. We set records, and then I transitioned to starting my own company
Mm.
because I was able to do some of the things like I mentioned, hiring a
By the way,
legal.
it sounds familiar to what I did with insurance, but keep going. Keep going.
Well, here's the thing. Like, I thought I was a big shot because I got like 160,000 followers on TikTok. And then I go to your page and I'm like, this guy's got like 5 times the amount of social media presence. I need to be
Yeah,
taking
yeah.
notes from Mark.
Well, listen. It's not all that it's cracked up to be because my videos on TikTok I've only been getting 3, 4, 500 views, and I got 600,000 followers. So that's a whole nother story. We can talk about social media on a whole nother podcast, and
Yeah.
I'm sure that would be good as well because we both have some strategies and tips and tricks that people can learn from. But yeah, man, just I think both of us we just get on these platforms and we try to share value. And
Yeah.
and the more value we share, the more people want to share our value, right? And so I think that's what it comes down to is we're being authentic, we're telling people the truth, how it's supposed to be, right? And people like our content and they start to share it out there. But you're big on TikTok's like your main bread and butter right now. That's where you educate most of your clients. That's where you get most of your business, right? I'd say
Yep.
I started on TikTok, but I'm now currently focused on Facebook because that's where the majority of my inquiries come from. But slowly but surely, I'm going back to my roots on TikTok because Facebook is playing games with me, right? I
Yeah.
got I got almost 1 million followers on Facebook, but they throttled my reach to like less than 1% of my followers. So I only get a dozen likes and comments now. I used to get hundreds of likes and comments.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to start to go back to TikTok. But you do lives every single day on TikTok. Is it every day or a couple times a week?
Typically 4 to 6 times a week. Yeah. And you're right. Like, you may get a couple hundred likes or whatever. And okay, you got 1 million followers with a couple hundred likes, and that's why I have people check me out on all social media platforms
Sure.
because I'm not a fake account. I'm not just sending out fake stuff. And there is a lot of that going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, like you mentioned, be authentic, just be your true self. And I have a question for you, Mark. How, with
Yeah.
with such a presence of yourself, what the fake gurus are teaching out there, and somebody like yourself who is in the game, they've helped thousands of people.
Mhm.
How does somebody watching this sift through the BS?
Yeah. I've probably been in the industry similar amount of time that you have, right? About 6 years, going on 6 years, about 5.5, 6 years. And when you're first starting out, you're gullible yourself. Even though you're trying to establish yourself as the go-to expert, you're
Yeah,
still gullible. So you hear things and you're like, crap, is what I'm doing correct? Or do they have value in what they're saying? And you start to almost have this conflict of belief, right? Of what you're actually doing the truth and helping people. And so I kind of went through that a little bit of like imposter syndrome in the very beginning. But then after connecting with other experts in the industry and hearing from other mentors and coaches and people that are actually doing what I'm trying to do, even if they have less followers, they've been in the industry longer. I've learned to just kind of build a foundation on what I believe. There's core beliefs, there's a core system of beliefs that I have that what I teach people, I know line up with those core beliefs. I'm
yeah,
not going to go out and say to somebody, you're going to get rich on a cash value life insurance policy and you're going to be able to, get rid of the middleman and never have to bank again. I would never say that or try to guarantee that because for a lot of people, that's not the case. And
right.
for a lot of people, maybe they don't even have the money to be able to do that, right?
Yep.
So, what I try to do is I try to take these core foundational principles and share it across these different mediums, these different platforms, so that at least people can start to get a taste of what the truth is. And then we lead them down the funnel to a free strategy session where we dive in depth, more deeper. We try to find out what their needs are, what their goals and their desires are, and what they want to accomplish. And then we try to fit a product with their needs. But
Yeah,
in our industry, there's some gurus out there that are like one size fit all. It's IUL or nothing, right?
yeah,
It's cash value life insurance or nothing. Well, my philosophy is a little different. If you can't save more than $100 a month, I'm not going to stick you in an IUL because it would make sense. I'm going to put
yeah,
you in a term. I'm going to let you get used to building up a little bit of dependable strategy of saving each month in that term. And then when you can start to fund something a little bit more, then we're going to move you into the more advanced stuff, right? I'm sure it's similar with you. You're not going to go tell somebody, yeah, hey, listen, I'm going to get you an 800 credit score in the next 30 days, right? But you're going to give them the, hey, let me start you here. Let me give you the ABCs of credit repair, and then we'll move up to the bigger and the better and the faster and the more advanced stuff later on down the road, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm sure I didn't answer your question. I rambled a little bit, but does that make sense?
Yeah. And what's crazy is like in business, especially with our clients, we have to like spoon feed them in the beginning. Cause
Yeah.
if I were to give them just diarrhea of all the information that I know, it's going to confuse people. And it's the same thing
Overwhelm
with
them.
you,
Yeah.
And so, like you said, we like to take our clients and walk them step by step, helping them one step at a time. In my industry, especially, it's very, we've had people tell us, "Oh, I got started," and then 2 months later, the guy ghosted me. We have a really good communication with
I've been through
all of
that
our.
myself. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
communication is important in a marriage and business.
I've paid thousands of dollars in early days, when my credit was really, really bad, thousands of dollars to these guys who said, oh, I'll clean up your credit, give me 60 days. And you pay them, you pay them 500 to 1,000 bucks, and 2 weeks later you can't message them anymore, you can't reach out to them, they're gone, right? So there's a lot
Yep.
of false promises out there. And in my industry it's the same thing, right? There's a lot of people on TikTok that are self-proclaimed experts or gurus, but they're really just parroting what other people are doing. They don't have any foundational core beliefs themselves. They're just saying, oh, I learned this from a video online, so I'm going to teach that. And they teach garbage, and then they repeat it over and over and over and over and do. But then there's somebody on the other side, and I don't know if you experience this too. There's guys in other companies that will try to tear our strategies apart and say that they're trash and they're hurting people and they're a horrible product to be in. There's a particular company, I'm not going to name any names right now, but there's a particular company that trains their agents to go on social media and just do lives and do videos on how bad the other company's products are, and what the other companies are teaching. And it's like this brainwashing, it's like this propaganda engine that's always out there trying to come against people like me who are actually trying to do people a good thing and do people justice. Do you have anybody in your industry that kind of poo-poos on your strategies or what you're trying to do, or maybe tells you have false claims or false teachings or anything like that?
Yeah, man, all the time. And you can't hate your way into greatness. You
Oh,
can't
I
hate
like
on
that.
somebody else to get yourself better.
That's good.
And yeah, we have that all the time. I've been on social media so long that like, I'm 36 years old, and
Yeah.
like yourself, you have a presence. After a while, people hating on it, I accept it, and I just kind of
Yes.
feed off of it. And I think one of the greatest marketers in the world is 50 Cent. He will
Okay.
he will go on a rampage hating on somebody, and then they dish it back to him, and then boom, he was promoting a movie the whole time. You know what
Ah,
I'm saying? Like
yes.
that is
Marketer.
that's what a tactic that they use.
Yeah.
So like I embrace it. People say this and that. Hey, people call credit repair a scam. People call IULs a scam. Well, guess what? Just because I got cheated on when I was dating somebody before doesn't mean I'm going to quit dating. You
that's
know,
that's that's a good point. That's a
because
good
I
point.
went to a
We
car,
wouldn't be married. We wouldn't be married right now if that were the case, right?
you know,
I get it.
and there's good and bad in every industry. But you did make a good point earlier where you said, in your industry, you have a mentor. Like, how important was a mentor in your life getting
Oh,
started in business? Did you have to pay for them? What was that like?
mentors are the cheat code, bro.
Yes.
Mentors are the cheat code. I wouldn't be where I am right now without a guy that I was able to learn from. I was able to ask questions, but that also dished out a little bit of tough love at
Yeah.
the same time and didn't just spoon feed me everything, right? A mentor is somebody who will tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. A mentor is somebody who will challenge you and help you reach the next level by not giving you all the answers up front and make you do some of the work on your own. That's a good mentor. And so, I've been mentored by this guy, Jesse Moon, for a long time, and he's been a key in my growth in the industry. And so we've done a lot of business together. And I think if you don't have a mentor, I think you're missing out so much on just general growth. Like
Yeah.
you can try to do it on your own with YouTube videos and courses and stuff like that. But if you don't have somebody that has a little bit more experience than you, a little bit more expertise than you, speaking into your life, holding you accountable, holding your feet to the fire on the goals that you wanted to set, I think you're totally missing the boat and
Yeah.
you're stunting your growth. Does that resonate with you?
Yeah, so I'll tell you 2 stories, and you're 100% right. The only way to elevate yourself is to really get a mentor and invest in yourself. I heard a quote one time that said, "If you're walking through a minefield, you don't wanna go first, you wanna be second." And that's what a mentor does is they go first and they show you the path,
So
right?
true.
So my personal story, when I got started in credit repair, I was trying to get traction and this and that. And I think we made, my wife and I collectively, like $34,000 my first year doing credit repair, right?
Yeah.
That's what was on my tax return. I got a mentor in my life. I invested, I can't remember how much it was. It was like a couple $1,000s. I invested in myself. That next year I went from $30,000 a year to $30,000 a month.
Mm,
And that was 5 years ago.
that's crazy. That's
So
crazy.
that was what
And would you say
myself
that would be attributed to a mentor?
100%. Yeah, because the guy was in the game for 20 years. He had already messed up so many times, and he says, "Hey, you don't want to do that, do this way. You don't want to do that, do it this way."
Right.
I had to change some roles in my business, but it was like a slingshot. I went
Yeah.
backwards to
Yeah.
slingshot forward.
Wow. I like that. Now, was that mentor in your network marketing company or outside your network marketing company?
Outside, he was actually the one that told me, "Hey, start your own business." And
Oh, cool.
I
And
was like,
he had no experience with network marketing?
none.
Cool.
And he
See,
wasn't against it. He wasn't against it either.
sure. I started in network marketing with a 3-letter company. Big guy who owned the company, big personality. You see him all over TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. Um, that's where I got my feet wet, and that's where I was able to learn the ropes and then eventually transition out to be more independent.
Yeah.
So I think it can be done both ways. I think network marketing is great for learning the ropes, getting your feet wet, learning accountability, learning growth. I think it could take a toll on a person after a while. And so I guess if you really want to make a business out of it, getting out and being independent is definitely the way to go. Being an independent business owner and running your own show. It could be a little harder even, but I think
Yep.
the growth factor is there. You could actually grow it a lot better and not have to rely on one company to pay you and all that different stuff. So, but yeah, I got started with a network marketing company, and then we branched off. But so you found a mentor outside of network marketing who kind of showed you the ropes. Did you have to pay for your mentor? Did you pay him lots of money, or was it like somebody who just wrapped his arm around you, was like, "Yeah, let's do it this way"?
Yeah, it was a couple $1,000. I
Okay.
can't remember the exact number, but it wasn't like, "Hey, here's my program, here's my course." I see that so much,
Yeah. Yeah.
and it's so annoying. It's a very misleading thing because everybody can throw around the word mentor nowadays, and like, and now I'm mentoring other companies, but
Yeah.
it's
But it was worth it.
yeah, exactly, and you need to walk them through it like the gentleman did for me. He didn't just say, "Buy this course. Good luck."
Sure.
You
Sure.
know.
So he was somebody who actually spent time with you, invested in you, talked to you. So you got back 10 times what you put in,
Oh,
essentially.
yeah. Yeah, and I
Probably
don't
more
even
than
talk
10
to him
times.
today. Like, I don't know. I
Nice.
don't even know where he's at, but I'm
Nice.
I'm for people come in your life for a reason and a
Yeah.
season, and,
Yeah.
I needed that at that time. So, and
Mhm.
and and again, that led me to okay, so I was fixing my own credit, I was helping other people, and that led me to investing elsewhere. A lot of people,
Sure.
I was
Other
like,
businesses and stuff.
I was always taught, have your multiple streams of income, right? Well,
Yeah.
that's good, but you need to secure one first.
Yes. That's a big one. So touch on that a little bit.
Oh
People
man.
try to go for 3, 4, 5 streams and spread themselves too thin when you really need my old mentor from the other company. used to say you need a Mississippi River first,
Yes.
and then the Mississippi branches off into multiple streams, right? So I
Yeah.
like that. Hit on that a little bit.
Yeah, instead of 7 different streams, why not one big river? Literally, it was what I was going to say when you said that. And once you secure that and you can step away, like, you have residuals that come in, I have residuals that come in. I could step away for a few months if I needed to do something, right? As far as a different business or revenue. If you cannot step away from your current income, whether it's active or passive,
Yeah.
then you should not be exploring other options yet.
Mm.
You know,
That's another place to position ourselves on for a second. So passive versus active. A
yeah,
lot of people try to build businesses and it's active income, which means if you step away, you don't eat, right? You can't pay your bills. What are some techniques that you have implemented over the last few years that allow you to have a little bit of passive income to rely on so that you're not always, we use in our industry, writing with your pen. You're not always relying on your pen, living and dying by your pen. I don't want to be 60 years old and still having to sling policies. I want
yeah,
to have a business that gives me passive income that I can kind of operate and manage. But if I wanted to go take a vacation on the Amalfi Coast and drink some whatever, sangria with my wife, I want my business to still continue to run. What are some things that you put in place to allow you to do that?
So it's hard to replace yourself when you're in business for yourself. You're the marketing genius. You're the HR department. You're the
You're
sales
everything.
department, right? And so
Yep.
that's hard. And so communication, all of my clients, and I'm sure you as well, you have very good communication with. And I actually learned that in network marketing is
Yeah.
developing relationships. Once you
Mhm.
have that in place, now all the daily tasks that you have to do every single day that are just so annoying,
Mhm.
it's easier to delegate those specific things and teach somebody those, right? Then they can
Yep.
take that and alleviate that from you to now you can go expand the company because you've alleviated some of those tasks that you shouldn't be doing in the beginning.
Sure.
So for me, like I'll do some sales calls, but typically I have somebody for that. I've trained a team of people that can, I don't have to dispute anybody's credit report if I don't want to. I have a
Mm.
team that can do that, you know?
So what you're saying is systems and processes help you scale your business and help you walk away or step away from your business when needed. You've developed a system to scale your business where other people do the repetitive tasks, the things that you necessarily don't like to do, but you can do, so that you don't have to do that. You can focus on just being the face and being the initial contact type of thing, right?
Yeah. And, at some point, like I remember when I first scaled my business very quick, like I said, that 30,000 a year to 30,000 a month, I
Yeah.
had so many people doing tasks that I used to do that I felt like it wasn't my business anymore. And
Yeah,
so it was a really weird feeling
sure.
because I weren't doing those things, but that's the definition of you owning your own business, your
Yeah,
business not owning you.
gotcha.
You know what I
Wow,
mean?
I like that. That's a guys, if you're not taking notes, man, you're not writing some of this stuff down. Guys, watch the replay. Watch the replay. If you're watching live, give us a hashtag live. If you're watching the replay, hashtag replay. Give us a thumbs up on the different socials that you're watching and drop a comment, guys. If you're watching this, we're 28 minutes in. We're probably going to get off here in a few minutes, but let us know where you're from, what state, what country you're watching from, even on TikTok. Let us know where you're from, and make sure you're following. Austin, where can they follow you? Where are you predominantly on right now? You're on TikTok is like your main platform, right?
So TikTok is Limitless Credit Repair, and I tell people to go to my Instagram because I post a lot more family stuff on my
Yeah,
Instagram, which is Austin Charbonneau, and I tell them, look, if do your own research, but this is my life, this is how I live my life, and
yeah,
I'm honored to just be transparent with people. I think that's what we're lacking in today's society is people just being honest and transparent.
sure, awesome. So a
How
couple
about
questions
yourself?
for you. Yeah, I'm all over the place. I'm on Facebook, TikTok. I'm trying to build my Instagram up again. I had like 14,000 on Instagram, but they throttled me, so I started a new account. So I'm trying to separate Instagram from Facebook. You know how they're both usually connected. I tried to start a separate Instagram from Facebook to see if I can get some momentum.
Yeah.
I talk about touchy subjects, right?
Yeah.
Anything that have to do with finances or rate of returns or guarantees. These public platforms get really, really picky about the words that you use. So
Yeah.
sometimes there's words that I use that cause red flags. Not that I'm doing anything wrong or giving people false hope, but in my communication, sometimes there's words that I use that
Yep.
just kill it. They get red flagged, and then I get throttled, and it's hard to get out of that shadow ban thing. So I constantly have to be careful not to use certain trigger words. I'm sure it's the same thing with
Oh yeah.
credit repair, right?
Yeah. And
You have to be very careful with that.
so you're telling me you can't guarantee me $1 million by the time I'm, in my 40s, I'm 4 years away,
Yeah,
like,
the word guarantee is the big no-no. Like I
yeah,
can't ever use guarantee on any of my posts. So,
yeah,
and I think I may have said something like risk-free at one point,
yeah,
which some of our products are, but I'm not allowed to say that apparently because Facebook can't differentiate between financial advising and like education. So it's
right.
like there's like financial advisors are regulated; they can't talk about that stuff. It's very very compliance driven. But insurance brokers have a little bit different rules to follow. So as long as I don't give guarantees and promises to make people rich, they're okay with that. But I think I used a word here and there that is a truth for one of our products, but they came across it on Facebook and totally just put the hammer on me. So
Yeah.
it's a tough line to draw when you're talking about that stuff. But I'm definitely going to go on TikTok more. I'm going to be doing lives a couple times a week because it's working really well for you. I'm going to get back to my roots to do that. So if you're not following me on TikTok, jump over to my TikTok, Mark Cassara. Make sure you subscribe, follow me there, and let's do a couple lives together. Let's try to maybe cross promote, cross market. As we close up, I got a couple questions for you
Yeah.
when it comes to credit repair, when it comes to helping the little guy. If people don't have a large budget, and I don't know what your prices range from, that's besides the point. But if people don't have a large budget and they're really struggling with credit, they maybe want to buy a house in a year. What is the quickest and most powerful way to go from a low credit score to a high credit score? If you can give me just a third grade kind of instructional analysis, let us know what steps people can take, at least to get the ball rolling. And then I encourage them to jump on a consultation with you. I'm assuming your consultations are free, right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely.
So that would be the next step. But if people are just getting started out, give me the down and dirty. Give me a little bit of secrets that you wouldn't probably tell the majority of people. But you're with me now. Let's go.
Yeah, and this is a common question that we get. So number one thing that I would do is, as we mentioned earlier, is credit cards, right? Credit card debt is the biggest thing. And so if you can get your credit card debt below 10%, so that means if you have $1,000 limit credit card, you don't want to have more than $100 on there. Now, the secret window between 1% and 9% is 5%. Doing this will maximize your credit score. It'll take you from 400 to 550s. It'll take you from the 600s into the 700s. So that is something that's 100% in your control. That's number one. Number two is a lot of people are just lacking credit age. And there's a whole formula on how to calculate this. But if you get added on to somebody's credit card as an authorized user, typically this will boost your score 40 to 150 points. We've seen more. And basically what that is, Mark, is let's say your mom or dad has a credit card they've had for 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to add you onto their credit card, you're going to be inheriting 30 years of payments onto
That's
your
good.
credit report. Now, if they have bad stuff on that credit card, you're going to inherit that too. But you're going to get 30 years of age, 30 years of payments. You're going to get that credit limit. This will cause your score to skyrocket. And this can take less than 30 days.
Gotcha. That's good.
Another tool real quick is there's a company called Rental Karma. And you can find, there's a link in my bio or in my my website.
So it's not Credit Karma, it's Rental Karma?
Yeah, Rental Karma. Okay. So most people have to live somewhere. So Rental Karma will actually report your rent payments to the credit bureaus. So if you've been renting for 5 or 10 years, you can report those years to your credit, and boom, they'll give you on-time payments. They'll give you that credit age. And this is another tip.
Now, do they have to contact your landlord and go through like form filling, or is it just
It's
like?
very simple. All they have to do is be able to verify payment, and that's pretty
Okay.
much it.
Wow. So like
So,
through you got to connect your bank account or something, or how does that work?
yep. So Rental Karma, you'll call the corporation, you set up a consultation with them. They'll verify that you actually make payments, whether it's through screenshots. You can use money order, you can use cash, credit card, whatever. If they can
Gotcha.
verify that, they'll not only backdate 10 years, they'll
Wow.
also start and move forward with the payments as well. So just those
Wow.
three things right there, we've seen clients. This is not even disputing the negative.
Yeah.
We've seen
Yeah.
clients go from the 400s to the 600s in literally 30 days.
Wow. That's
So
incredible. That's incredible. Awesome. Any other tips or tidbits? That's pretty much the
got to
basics.
schedule the consultation for that, man.
I like it.
No,
Schedule a
just kidding.
consultation. Guys, I'm going to leave Austin's some type of link. Send me a calendar link or something. I'll drop it in the description of these videos. Make sure you watch the replay. I say we do round two in a couple weeks, and we dive a little deeper into some of your strategy with credit repair, and then we can shoot the breeze again and talk finances as well. Did you have any last minute things that you wanted to cover or ask me? If not, we'll do round two in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I want to get, because your title is financial strategist, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I want to dive into that part too as well, because
sure.
the Federal Reserve and things like that. A lot of people are just not educated on where money comes from,
Yeah.
how money is created, because it's
Mhm,
debt, right? So
mhm.
I would love for you to touch on those topics for some of
Yeah,
the social media followers I have as
for
well.
sure. Yeah, absolutely, man. People are just they know what they know because that's all they were taught, right? And it goes to the other thing. We don't know what we don't know because nobody taught us, right? So we're really bound by who we grew up with, our parents that were in our house, and that's kind of the lens that we
Yeah.
see things through with, right? So, like in my position, I was always a part of a family. When I grew up with my single mother, we were always strapped. We were on, state assistance. There was, we were on, stuff that the state would help you live, and just it was a nanny state situation where we depended for everything, groceries, rent, assistance, all that stuff. And so I viewed money almost like it was non-existent because I never had it. Right.
Yeah.
I didn't know what it was. It was such a far away approach to living than what I grew up with. So that when I was growing up, it wasn't until probably my late 20s that I started to realize, hey, listen, money can be a powerful tool to use to get out of these situations that
Yeah.
I grew up in. I just thought this was life. Everybody lives this way. I didn't know, right? I didn't have wealthy friends. I lived in just a small area where just we all kind of went through the same thing with single parents. And so as I started to grow older, I started to realize that money is a powerful tool. It's neither good nor bad,
Yep.
right? People get it twisted. They think money's bad, money's evil, right? They say, oh, the love of money, or no, they say money is evil. But what they don't realize is that comes from a biblical concept of the love of money, or what I like to refer to as the lust of
Mm.
money, is the root of all evil. It's when you crave it for your existence and you can't do anything but get more of it. That's where it becomes, like, we'd call it a sin, or that's what it becomes evil, right? But money itself is neither good nor bad. It's amoral, it's a tool. And so you can either use that tool for good or you can use that tool for bad. Most people take that tool and they use it for bad. What do I mean bad? Not even necessarily really bad things like drugs or alcohol I'm just talking about selfish living.
Yeah.
I can take a $10 bill and I can go out and buy a Starbucks and cake pop, right, for right around $10. Maybe it's probably a little bit more than that. Or I can take that $10 and I can go stick it in a high yield investment account or a Roth IRA and start to get that money to work for us. The problem is people take all the money that they bring in and they immediately spend it on things that are going to gratify their selfish nature right away, versus thinking to yourself, how can I make this money move in the right direction as fast as possible? And that's some of the strategies that we talk about with our clients is, all right, you've got $500 a month that is expendable to you, that is discretionary. You don't need it for your bills. What can you do with that to get it moving in the right direction as fast as possible? You
Yep.
can easily take that $500 and go buy a pair of Air Jordans if you want to. No problem. Go do that. You could take that $500. They got a sale going on in Walmart right now, and you can go buy a flat screen 65-inch screen TV right now, and you can sit and chill and Netflix and be good and feel good about yourself because you're caving into your flesh, right? Don't let me get churchy on you, right? But you're caving into your flesh, right? Or you could take that same 500 and you can split it up 3 different ways to get it to move in a direction where it gives you a return, right?
Mm.
And then we can talk about active income, passive income, portfolio income. We can talk about those different things as well. But there's different ways that you can make income, right? Income that is active is you trading time for dollars. Everybody does that, okay? Or at least all of middle class America does that. And then we have passive income where you create something once and you sell it over and over and over, or it sells itself over and over and over again.
Yep.
You create a passive income stream. And then we have portfolio income where you can put money somewhere and it will grow based on the value of that asset that you put it in. It will either grow or it will go down, right? Hopefully it goes up. And
Yep.
then you make portfolio income that way. And then you make something called compound income, right? You can make compound income in several different ways. You can invest money in the stock market, but that money is interrupted compound interest, which means if the market goes down or crashes or corrects or we go into recession, the compound interest is halted and even reversed, okay?
Mm.
And then it takes months or years to break even again and then start compounding. But the compound interest has to start over from scratch, okay? Then we have something called uninterrupted compound interest. You have uninterrupted compound interest in a few different places. High yield CDs could be uninterrupted compound interest, but it's a low fixed rate of growth. You have the bond market could be compound interest, but again, it's a low fixed rate of return. Then you have something called cash value life insurance, which is an asset class all of itself. It's a compound interest account with life insurance attached to it to allow your money to move up the chain, but never move down the chain. So in other words, there's 2 types of products that we use. We use whole life, which is kind of a little better than a CD or a bond. It's a low fixed rate of return, 4%, usually 3 to 4% guarantee. That's all you get in a whole life policy. But there's guarantees. You'll continue to earn that 3-4% for the rest of your life.
Right.
So people like the safety of those guarantees. But as it grows and compounds, it never stops. It's
Right.
compounding forever, and it doesn't stop compounding. And then you have another permanent policy called an index universal policy. This gives you a little bit more growth. There's still uninterrupted compound interest because unlike a whole life, an IUL has something called a 0% floor. Now that 0% floor is a safety net. The safety net basically says I can put $500 a month into a policy. I can let that $500 a month compound, and then the carrier is going to give me whatever the market yields as an extra credit going into my account, so I can get higher compound interest growth. So, for instance, we can indirectly associate these index policies with the stock market, the S&P, the Barclays, the credit NASDAQ, the BlackRock. There's a couple different indices that we can peg it to. It's indirectly attached to it, which means your money in this life insurance policy is never directly invested directly in the market itself. Your money is safe and secure in the carrier's reserve. It doesn't move. It earns interest on special type of bonds, right? Insurance-backed bonds, mortgage-backed bonds. There's different bonds that they use, but it always earns interest, 3 to 4, 5 to 6% on a regular basis. So what they do is they take the interest that your money's making, they stick it into call options. That's what the index insurance does. They take the interest that your money's making. They don't touch your money. They take the interest that your money's making. They stick it into call options, and then they risk the interest.
Gotcha.
But if they lose on that, they're losing the interest. They're not losing your money. So that's why your money is protected by a 0% loss feature. You never lose. That's why it's called an uninterrupted compound interest growth. So as the market goes up, I profit. But as the market goes down, I just stay where my highest high was and I don't lose anything. And as soon as the market picks up again, my money starts taking off with interest just like a rocket. And it continues this upward spiral from the day you start your policy until the day that you expire. So that's called compound income. We got active income, passive income, portfolio income, and compound income. The compound income is what we specialize in. It's what we train our clients in. It's what we teach them. We educate them. And it's, sorry, I got a call coming through. And it's been something that's been an eye-opening experience for me for the last half a decade. Because before this, I didn't know about this compound income or even portfolio income. But within the last 5 years, I've learned more than I did in my entire 35 years of existence, or 37 years. I'm 42 right now, right? I just turned 43. I forgot my birthday was last week. I'm 43 right now. So I've learned more in the last 5 years than I have in all my years in high school, all my years in college, and all my years working for corporate. They never taught me this. And my mom, who was a single mom who was broke, definitely didn't teach me this. And my dad, who was a pastor and he lived on a church salary, definitely didn't teach me this. I had to learn this. I had to learn this for myself, a mentor, and then something called researchability. I had to go ham and go down the rabbit hole on YouTube and Instagram and watch all these experts talk about this stuff. And here I am today. And I'm still a student. I'm still learning on a regular basis. But that's a 30,000 view overview of what we do and what we teach clients. So hopefully that makes sense to you and that brought value to your audience.
That was awesome, dude. I didn't want to interrupt at all because that was perfect. Me saying something would have been dumb. That was great. I have one question. So
yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of different incomes you mentioned: portfolio, compound, active, passive. For people that don't know, what's the most taxed income right now?
Active income. Active income.
Okay, so what is active income? You showing up to work, right?
Showing up to work, trading time for dollars. You being an employee. You get taxed more as an employee than you would as an independent small business owner, all day, every day, and 3 times more on Sunday.
Okay. Okay.
So you working a 9-to-5 W-2 job, you are going to pay way more taxes now than if you were a part-time, spare time, independent business owner. You get tax write-offs, you get advantages. You can write off your cell phone. You can write off your home office. You can write off a portion of your electricity bill, your TV bill. There's so many benefits to being a small business owner. But yes, go for it.
So, okay. W-2, active income is taxed the most. What's the least taxed?
Least tax out of all that income? Well, compound interest income inside of a life insurance policy never gets taxed.
Okay.
So it functions similar to a Roth. You put in money after tax, right? You've already got taxed on it as a independent worker, an employee. You get paid. They take taxes out. Federal government takes taxes out. But once that money goes in, you put it in after taxes, it grows tax-free for the rest of your life. Or it's called tax deferred, but you never have to pay taxes on it because it circulates inside of this account where you can use it tax-free. You use it in the form of a loan, or otherwise known as OPM, other people's money. You're really using the carrier to pay that loan that you can use. So even if I take $100,000 out of my policy in 10 years, the IRS is not going to have to get notified, as it doesn't look like income. It's a loan, so it's tax-free. So I can take loans in the form of income from the time I'm 65 until the time I'm 90 years old, and I can get paid without being taxed. But it's income coming to me. It's retirement income, and it's completely tax-free.
That's huge, bro.
Yeah, it's big. It's big. People don't realize how powerful that is.
It's huge, man.
Yep.
And that's what I want to get more into that next time too. You know what I mean? But I just wanted to compare because what we're taught to go do in school is taxed the most, and what you've never learned about in school is not taxed at all. So it's like
so true.
It's the extremes, man. It's pretty crazy, bro.
So true.
So,
but
yeah, dude.
Oh man, it's been good, bro. It's been good. You know, I get passionate, and you probably wouldn't even have a chance to say anything because I would have just kept going, right? But just like you can talk about credit repair for hours at a time, I can do the same thing about cash value insurance and we call it alternative strategies, right? Alternative strategies to traditional methods. We can talk about that stuff forever. So I look forward to round 2. I look forward to doing this again. Let's jump on a couple lives together and do some live stuff on TikTok. But yeah, man, that's it, bro. I appreciate you coming on here with me and giving us some 411 and pulling out that passion inside of me, man. I appreciate that.
Hey, man, I appreciate you, brother. So
Yeah.
if everybody's tuning in, we're going to hop off right now. I appreciate everybody. If you want the replay, this has been 50 minutes of just awesome value. Just get with Mark, follow Mark, and we're going to do this again next week, man. So I appreciate you taking the time, brother.
Appreciate you, man. I'll have it. It'll be up on Facebook. It'll be up on LinkedIn and then also YouTube as well. Mark Cassara on YouTube. All right.
Awesome, man. Appreciate
All
you
right,
guys.
brother. God bless. We'll talk soon.
Yeah, bud.
All right. Take it easy. Bye-bye.
See you, bro.